Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Godforge video. In today's video, I'm gonna tell you which of these three starters I'm personally going to be picking for the third alpha wave, and at the same time, I'm gonna tell you, well, the same one that I will be picking that I would recommend for the majority of you out there. So let's get into this one. So Alpha Wave 3 is just around the corner. There's going to be some cool stuff happening because, well, all the people participating in the Alpha will be getting some rewards. Then there should also be some more rewards for like top 1000, top 100, but especially for like top 5. Now, we're going to be getting a video later on released by, the official Fateless YouTube. And we're going to get more information on that. Once we know that, I'm going to make a video, and that video might just come out for tomorrow. But TLDR, top 5 people that win and are eligible, I guess, because there's some like quirky stuff going on there, but top 5 people will be able to win a trip to Vegas because the winner's gonna have a diorama, right, like a statue build up that's gonna go in Velcro's vault. I think that's the name of it, and 5 people will be flown to Vegas to join the people to see all that, and it's gonna be really cool. So it kind of has a little bit more of a weight this time around for this one to participate, and then at the same time the choice between starters is gonna have a little bit of a importance because of the fact that, well, they all do different things. However, because of that, I'm just gonna straight up jump into it, but because of the fact that we recently had some change, you might have seen in the patch notes, right, there was some information put. Let me just open up the patch notes so I show you exactly which one do I mean, but there was one over here that says like this, right? Blaze, bleeds, and more, even acid. So all the damage over time have kind of been adapted, and the most important thing to keep in mind is this one over here, right? All bosses held a passive that reduced incoming damage from debuffs, such as bleed, blaze, and acid. These effects were expected to deal 25% of their original damage, when in reality they were dealing 100%, which means bleed is not going to be as powerful. Acid is not going to be as powerful. That's going to be, bleed from Lady Jacques, and then acid for Ramses. So those two are going to be kind of like, a little bit nerfed because of that reason. So from my point of view, because of this that we know, I do believe that the #1 choice is going to be Guan Yu, right? Even though he used to be maybe the worst one of the starters, I personally believe Guan Yu is going to be the better out of the option. And I do have a video going over his kit. There wasn't much that was changed, but pretty much everything that he brings can be really helpful for most of the fights, but especially for the boss fights. This is why I believe he's gonna be #1 this time around. You can see there's me a little bit in the background, but let's look at the kit basically based on what I have. So first of all, it's gonna be his first ability. Attacks one enemy if the target's under drain, inflicts additional damage equal to 5% of the target's max HP. This is straight up the one that you want, right? 5% of the target's max HP means he can be a boss slayer, considering the bleed and acid and stuff is not going to do as much. I even used them previously when I did my all rare challenge against, I think it was floor 90, and then against floor 120. With, the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be his drain, right? That's something to keep in mind. If you don't want to build him with some accuracy so that he can land that drain, you can bring somebody else that brings drain, land it, to enable him, and then he's going to be bringing that damage. At the same time, his cold ability does, again, attacks one enemy, then if the target is under... Wait a second, why is it the same one? Okay, let's go over to the core one. Okay, core ability, AoE hit, 420% attack, with a chance to strong hit, higher one. And then this one goes up to 100% chance of place drain for 2 turns. He can do that himself. Now, not only is this going to enable his basic attack, which is going to be doing, like I said, a 5% max HP, but having drain on all of the people, right? If you do decide to build them with some accuracy as well to land this means that whenever people hit those targets with drain, they can heal up a bit, right? Because drain pretty much allows you to, when you hit them based on the damage that you do, you can heal up a bit. So if you're struggling, if you don't have a good healer early on, this drain can come in really clutch, can be extremely helpful. So definitely keep this in mind, right? And then if we look at his, let's see, ultimate ability, his ultimate ability, AoE damage, then attacks, first of all does AoE damage, then he attacks 2 more at random. If he defeats somebody, gains initiative up. Also, right, if you defeat somebody, it reduces the cooldown of the core ability by 1/3. Now, that's only part of the Awakening 5. But still, another decent AoE hit, right, with 2 more hits at random. This can be really helpful, especially because, you know what, this 340 happens, plus another 2 at random. Again, if we're talking about boss fights, they're just straight up guaranteed hits. So I personally believe that the best one, you know, based on the patch notes that we had, which, you know what, if you want to see all the patch notes, I made a video on it yesterday, go check it out. But based on all the information that we know, I personally believe that that's going to be the #1 choice, right? So Guan Yu, I believe, is going to be the king of this one. That's what I'm personally going to be picking. And, you know, that's what I believe most of you should do. Now, another few things that I want to mention in case you're playing for the first time. The alpha, if you go to my channel, if you go to my YouTube videos, there's you know, there's quite a few things that I made a video on. Last time around, I beat it with all rares. It was, you know, a pretty fun challenge. It was difficult. It was a fun challenge. However, there could be some stuff that can be really helpful. So, for example, I have an ultimate alpha guide, right? It's kind of like a beginner's guide. Even though there's been some changes, 99% of what I say in there is still relevant. Then also don't miss these things. There's to be some things that, you know, might not be as obvious that you might want to check out. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. If you're playing this type of a game, of a gacha game, right, a turn-based RPG, then fight mechanics can be a good video. So, you know, you can always check out my videos that can give you some help, some insights. Also, you know your stats. There's quite a few things that I covered that, again, should be really helpful for most players, especially for new player, right, for first-time players. Now, obviously, if you still want to see content, I'm going to try and post as much as I can, at least a video a day once, you know, the alpha comes out this last wave. I'm going to show my progress. I'm going to stream when I can, but make sure, you know, you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Also, something that I'm really excited about, even though it's not going to be something so obscene, I'm building a website. I'm actually building a website, right? I'm going to have the link to this website. It's pretty much OddOneGaming.gg. I'm building a website that's going to be focused around Godforge. Now, I do want to mention I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best at websites. I have no idea about coding, right? However, I managed to, you know, start working on this. Shout out to Susie again. Susie found a really interesting way where I can build this website, pretty much having it populate from a spreadsheet and whatnot. So it's not going to be as complex. It's not going to be as good as, you know, some other websites out there. They're definitely better than mine. However, I wanted to make this website just to have a database, right? This is more for, you know, me to have a database so that I can share with you guys for later on, instead of having like a, what's it called, a Google Sheet, right? A spreadsheet where people might not like it. It might be, you know, too bright on the eyes, whatnot. Pretty much it's the same thing. It's, you know, has a little bit of an intro. Then you're going to see all of the people are in here, right? All of the heroes, right, that are available during this alpha. You're going to find them over here. They have like a little bit of a color theme based on what they are, but again, keep in mind this is work in progress, right? Like if I open, for example, one of the pages, because again, it's not too complicated, it's, you know, just hits you with bright Achilles stuff. These are not populated yet. This is still something that I have to find the right way of how I can actually do it, because again, it's more limited considering it populates from spreadsheets. But I'm gonna try and have, like, you know, pages of this as I go forward, right? As the game is gonna go into beta, as the game is gonna go into launch, I'm gonna try and have these pages to be something like, you know, skill description maybe first of all, then be like, you know, best builds, best masteries, best whatever other information we can get. And then at the end, I'm gonna obviously have like a video if I do a spotlight video on them. So I'm gonna have to try that. Then there's gonna be links at the top, right, for my YouTube channel. Then for my Discord, if you wanna join my Discord, I have designated channels for Godforge, definitely coming there. Same thing for my Twitch. On this, subscribe to this list. I have to remove it, and what that is, it's just a random link. Other stuff is things that I'm trying to implement. And then obviously this is the tier list. Right now I don't have a tier list because I didn't want to build a tier list up until we actually get more info on you know, Godforge. Maybe for beta I'm gonna have a tier list, but for now the tier list, the placeholder is just gonna be, you know, the ultimate beginner's guide. So, you know, if you need this is gonna be helpful. And the main reason why I wanted to like advertise it, even though it's not done yet, it's still in progress, is because there's a few things that I managed to do a little bit. Again, it's not the most complex, not the prettiest, but I'm doing my best. But I managed to add a ton of these filters, right? So pretty much it's going to be filtered based on their archetype. So Slayer, Brawler, Defender, Invoker. For example, if I click on Brawler, it's just going to show me all the people that are Brawlers that are currently available in the game. Now, if you put two of them, it's not going to, you know, check people that have two, unfortunately. Again, it's not as complex, but if you put only Defenders, it's going to show you only Defenders. Now, same thing happens if I want to put only people from Chaos, right? Check this out. It's only going to show me people from Chaos. Now, the main reason why I wanted to, again, show this and pretty much advertise this is because of the way that this last alpha wave is gonna happen, and pretty much the ranking of the leaderboards, right? If you want to rank, you want to get at the top, the damage that you do against Fafnir at the end on 151 is going to be multiplied by the amount of stars that you achieve. And the stars that you get, right, you can get 1 star just for clearing it, and then 2 stars by meeting the conditions. Well, some of the conditions are use only defenders, or use at least 2 defenders. Other conditions are use only people from order. So you would have to check this, right? At least, you know, you're gonna have the image of like, okay, order, who do I have out of this list? You can have this on one side, and then you can check like, okay, I have this one, that one, and whatnot. So this is another one. Then another cool thing, another important thing is, unless they changed it, there was one of the stages that specifically said Aetherburn, right? So who has Aetherburn? Well, there's only 2 in the game. Unless they changed and added something else, there's only 2 in the game that actually have Aetherburn. So definitely keep in mind that, you know, some of these filters, you know, it's not perfect. Again, it says, you know, the best I could do, but it can help you go to that if you're like, okay, who brings me shields? You go over here and look. It might take you a bit to find it because, again, it's not perfect. I'm still trying it. I might try and look at a way to maybe have these, all of these filters be put in alphabetical order, but, you know, hopefully this is helpful, right? Hopefully this is helpful. I just wanted to show this out there because this, if you guys come and visit the website, it's not going to get me any benefit. I'm not getting any money. This is just, again, it's a resource I'm trying to build to have for myself to be able to share to the community if people ever want information. I'm still working on it, but I hope it helps you this time around for the sake of this, and I'm trying to improve my best for this one. If you ever have some feedback, again, keep in mind, it's limited. If you see some mistakes, some errors, just let me know in Discord so that I can change them. But we're gonna leave it at this for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Really excited for tomorrow, for when the alpha starts. I'm not gonna be able to stream first day because Susie has to be all hands on deck as usual, right? As the community manager, I have to stick around with Lily. So I'm gonna try and stream maybe on Thursday, Friday, but who knows? Just keep an eye on my channels. I'm gonna try and post at least 1 video every single day, so hope that's gonna help. But yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.